Hey, Coach. So happy you found us at, on YouTube. It's great. There's lots of great resources out there. Go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. You want to win more games, less time from someone that's done it. Let me mentor you. Let me help you. Teachhoops.com will allow you to do that. That's the first thing. Also, go over and subscribe and like. If you do like the podcast, it's a great place to kind of find all the resources and things that you need to become a better basketball coach. So, have a great day and go enjoy the video.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of many of the Rule of Three offense. So, similar to the funnel down defense, I'm going to kind of walk you through over the next, couple months, or depending on how many episodes we kind of eventually get with this offense. I'm going to talk about how it started, why we do it, what works really well, and then I'll try to get into the nuts and bolts of kind of what it entails, how it works, and why I think it's the offense for just about everybody. But I'm biased, so I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about kind of in this first episode. I'm going to talk about kind of how it came about, similar to the funnel down. If you remember, the funnel down came down on a napkin at Chick-fil-A. This one has had a little the rule of three um, had a little bit different birth than the funnel down defense. Um, so I'll just go back in history. I think we won our first state title running the swinger flex when we actually ran a half court offense. Um, that's what we ran. And obviously, I believe as a coach, you have to be able to adjust and to tweak and to kind of move with the times. I think flex is a fine offense and it works for some teams, but obviously with my personnel and some other, there are lots of reasons why we don't run it anymore. But we started experimenting with, the Princeton. We started experimenting with some motion. We started experimenting with read and react and dribble drive and all of these kind of things. And I quickly found out um, that my guys were thinking too much, and we ran some structured stuff, some continuity, kind of like flex, but a little bit different. And what I found out is um, my players weren't playing, first of all, and couldn't long term keep it. Now, if you know anything about the flex of the swing, it's a pretty easy motion, quote unquote motion, and a pretty easy movements for them to remember. However, when we moved to trying some other ones, it was that millisecond of them thinking, and it was too much. So, gosh, it was a couple summers. It was pre-COVID. Um, we sat down and we kind of tried to figure out, what could they do? What were we good at? And what could they, this is the kicker, what could they remember? And this is when, if you're watching me on YouTube right now, this is when I dove into my research about memory, about remembering things. And that's where I kind of came up with the rule of three is actually a writing technique. It talks about listing events and three, chunking things in three. It's not obviously a writing thing. But there's patterns. There's been research done. Um, there's severe limits on what we can remember for long term. So if you just think about yourself, and there's studies, there's one by Nelson Cohen, which I like. That was, I don't know, it's about 6, 7 years old. It's about the mystery of 3 and 4 memory capabilities and limits and stuff like that. But there are limits. Let me read here for a second. It says tests of working memory demonstrates practical limits that vary depending on whether the test circumstances allow processes such as grouping or rehearsal, practicing, focusing of attention, or just material relevant to the task, whether they like it or don't like it, the use of modality or material specific stores, blah, blah, blah. It gets into some other stuff. Recent work suggests, nevertheless, that there's an underlying limit on the central component of working memory. Typically, it's 3 to 5 chunks in young adults. So we went on the lower end rather than on the higher end. And if you just think about, in physics, there's Newton's three laws of motion. In music, there's the musical tirades, the three notes. In religion, there's the Trinity, right? If you're religious, you think about all the famous different components, like just do it, finger licking good, diamonds are forever, snap crackle pop, life, liberty, and pursuit of everything tends to be. If you start watching it, when I start doing this, you start watching things tend to be in groups of three. Um, Anyway, so why did we do that? Think here's how I came about with I thought my gals could remember three things. I wanted to keep it simple, and I wanted to make sure they could do it. Think about a phone number, right? Nobody remembers phone numbers anymore. It's 3 and 4 digits, right? Area code's 3 digits. I know this is what made me go over the edge. When I think about my social security number, I'm not going to say my social security number out loud, but when I do it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that right? Nine, right? There's 9 digits. So you chunk it, right? When I do mine in my head, I'm not going to say my social security number out loud. But if I do it, I always have, if I have to get the last 4 digits, I got to chunk it, right? So three simple steps to everything. If you go to the TSA, you go anywhere, it's three simple steps. So that's how the name came about, the rule of three. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to, there's a problem. Players can't remember plays. Plays are scoutable. If you're running even a continuity, they don't know what to do. They pass the ball. Where do they go? It's difficult to pick it up, and it's hard to learn. Okay, so I wanted to get it down to the point where they could just do the basic things. I'm gonna steal this from you, Bill. The ABCs of basketball, right? I wanted to make it simple, so they could run it and they wouldn't be hunting for solutions. They wouldn't be thinking about what they needed to do. They would just do it, right? Like I know the first 3 digits of my phone number when I was a kid. Boom, boom, boom. It's 3 digits. Okay. So I wanted to keep it easy. I wanted to keep it that any team could do this. And here's the kicker. And this is why I think the rule of three offense works for anybody, works for the highest level of high school, which I think in my program probably I would put us there over the last 20 years, to the lowest junior high, middle school, elementary. Is this entire offense can fit on a 3x5 card, one side of a 3x5 card. I'm taking away I'm taking away the decision making from them. Okay. I want them to have reads, okay, and then get reps and then know their role when it comes to all of this. I want those, and again, notice I did three things again. I want them to be able to do the reads. I want them to be able to have reps, plays, practice, drills, things. And then I want them to know where they fit. Are they a driver? Are they a pen? Whatever. That's probably the hardest one. But those are the things that I want to teach, and that's how the rule of three offense came about. Again, I love Rick Torbert. I love the read and react offense. It's 87 layers. It's way too complicated. I love the Princeton offense. Coach Wheeler, if you're listening to this, I think it's an awesome offense. It's way too complicated for me. Um, and I consider myself a relatively bright person, and I consider my players very bright. It's just too much. I don't need them to remember 17 plays. I just need them to learn to play and to turn and to burn and to be able to attack the basket. And again, we'll talk about the offense and the reads and how it can be run out of different situations. You can be a 5-out team, you can be a 3-out team, you can be a running team, you can be a slow team, you can be all this. This offense will fit into all of those categories. But I wanted to kind of tell you kind of the birth of the rule of three offense, where it came from, kind of how we got it, how we kind of built it into what hopefully is an offense that will be helpful for you and your team. So I hope you enjoy this. And again, like I said, like next week, I'm going to talk about over the next 3 episodes, I'm gonna kind of talk about the birth. I already talked about the birth, but I'm gonna talk about kind of where it flows, and then after that, I'm gonna get into kind of how you can do it as a coach with your team. So I think that will be hopefully be helpful for you moving forward. And simplicity wins. That's why the rule of three offense is what you want. All right, have a great day, everybody.
Hey, coach, so glad you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and like, and go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better.